Hi friends, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video today. My name is Kelly. Welcome back to my project panning channel. Today I am doing a little bit late, but a Pan Those Eyeshadows update. I was really going back and forth on if I wanted to do this update at all. I did not have a lot of progress this month, but ended up getting a pan, spoiler, pretty recently, and decided I might as well just do it. Plus, these are my favorite videos to watch, my favorite project to participate in. So I, like to produce content that I also enjoy. So I had a very busy last month or so. My best friend was in town for 10 days. So I wasn't like sitting and doing my makeup a ton. I live with my boyfriend and his sister was just in town as well. So we were going and doing stuff with her. I work as an event planner and this has been a very busy time for me. So just kind of focusing or having time to do fun eyeshadow looks that are not like stuff I wear every day into the office was not as common this month, hence the kind of slow progress on these. But I do have one update, so I will stop blabbering. Let's just get into everything that I need to share. So I will start with the eyeshadows that have been in here the longest. The first one is my Morphe and Avani Greg palette, and I've been working on the shade 2016, which is this pinky reddish shade right here. It looks like there's barely any progress on this. This is very bright. I find it kind of hard to wear, especially to work. I currently have the Natasha Denona Cupid little 5-pan palette in my deck of panning, and I have been putting this shade like on the outer corner, and then using like the darker shades in that palette to kind of create a rosy-ish look. So that's worked out well, and that's how I have found myself using it pretty recently. But I find this shade a little bit difficult to use. So it's just not something I can reach for every day, which is totally fine. So in the last month, I used this shade 4 times. Before that, I used it 5 times. I'm at a total of 9 uses in this project. My own rules, I would love to hit pan, but I'm also going to give myself an option to roll out shades after 20 uses. So this is probably going to be a 20 use shadow. Again, I've used it 9 times so far and it looks like I haven't done shit. This is going to continue to stay in the project, and I'm going to make sure for this update that I take pictures of all the shadows. So for the next one, I can include like progress photos because I am bad and forget to do that. But again, it looks untouched basically. So here's what the shade looks like swatched out, and then on the back of my hand, sorry, I just filmed my That's So 2000s Project Pan video. So that's 2016, bright red, bright pinky red, but I've gotten some use out of it so far. Next shade in here is from my Morphe and James Charles palette. This is the mini palette. I have said this every time so far. I don't really support Morphe anymore. I do not support James Charles, but I'm fine with having this palette in my project so I can continue to get some use out of it. I am not condoning behavior on this brand or this creator. But the shade I have in this project currently is Single, which is this kind of pinky purple shade down in the corner here. As you can see, it also looks like it's practically untouched. I used this shade 6 times the first month. I used this 3 times last month for a total of 9 uses as well. I've been enjoying, honestly, with that same like look, putting this on my lower lash line. I found that's been a nice touch. So this one will also probably be a 20 use goal, even though I would love to get more progress on this palette specifically so I can try and start rotating it out of my collection. But we'll see what happens. So again, 11 uses or pan, whatever comes first on single in here. Here is what single looks like swatched. I think these two actually complement each other really, really well. So that's why I've been using them together a lot. But just matte shadows in general are going to be harder to pan. So we're working on it. It's a work in progress. But these are two shades that are very much like out of my comfort zone to begin with. So I'm glad I'm getting some use out of these kinds of colors. The next shadow I want to talk about is from my Colourpop Golden State of Mind palette. This one is in the shade Lust in Time, which is this little guy down here. And if you can see, there is a tiny, tiny little pan in there. Did I maybe dig a little bit? Perhaps, but whatever. I'm getting used out of this palette. It's how I use my eyeshadow. This is one of the older palettes in my collection. I'm really happy to be getting some use on it, and I really enjoyed this shade. I used the three of these together very frequently, actually. With that same Natasha Denona Cupid palette as well. Some of those mattes to help like buff out that bright red. This was my all over lid shade. It was gorgeous. I have done that look now probably more times than I've done any single eyeshadow look this entire year. And I really liked it. So, but this pan I hit just a couple days ago. If I hadn't have hit this pan, I probably would not be filming this update right now, basically. But I'm really glad I did. So I'm excited to roll this one out. But let me do a quick swatch of Lust in Time. All right. So that's what Lust in Time looks like. Almost like a rosy copper shade. I was just able to make the three of these work together very well, and I was very pleased about that. Originally, my plan with this palette was to almost make this like a pan that palette and do like pick a shade from here for every time. But I'm realizing I'm not a pan that palette kind of girly. I just get too bored with them. So I'm glad I got a pan in this so far, but I'm going to roll in a new shade from my entire collection instead this month, versus doing another one from here. So sorry I'm abandoning ship like that. I'm just already finding myself getting bored reaching for the same things when I have so many eyeshadow palettes that I really don't give enough love. Oh, I didn't even say. Last month I used this shade 9 times. This month I used it 6 times for a total of 16 uses. Again, was I maybe digging a little bit? Perhaps. But whatever. It's my eyeshadow. So I'm excited to roll this one. Next palette is my Morphe and Coca-Cola 1971 palette, and the shade I've been working on in here is 1971. This is where things start to get like, I really didn't do much in the last month. 1971 is this like shimmery blue shade up in the corner here. And I used this a total of 3 times. This rolled in last month. Blues are not my thing. I'm learning to like color a little bit more, but I feel like blue is going to be the one that takes the longest for me, especially this shimmery kind of blue. This color gives me like early 2000s, just shimmery blue eyeshadow all over the lid kind of vibes. And I'm struggling to find ways to make it not look like that, basically. I don't want to look like the, Disney Channel stars on the red carpet who just put shimmery blue eyeshadow on. That's not really the vibe I'm going for. But we're working on it. It's a work in progress for sure. This one very well might be a 20 use goal as well. But I'm happy to have this palette, and I don't love this palette. I got this when I was going through a Morphe phase last year. I got it for like $6 at the store. But it's fine. So I want to continue to use this and play around with this and find ways that I can make it work for me, basically. Here is 1971 swatched out. Again, very like frosty blue all over the lid, early 2000s look, and that's just not really what I'm going for. So we will continue to work on this one. Last shade I have is from my Beauty Bay Jade palette. This is the 3rd shade I've had in this project from this palette. So, and I only officially started this project a couple months ago. Anyway, in here I'm working on the shade Northern Star, which is this, oh goodness, bright blue shade right here. I feel like when I open this palette, this is the shade my eyes gravitate towards first, to be honest. You can see a little bit of disturbance. I've pretty much just been using this as an eyeliner. So I've been dipping like a angled brush in there a good bit, but definitely not quite enough to like hit pan or anything. Intention over here was in my project previously, and that took me like 20 something uses, and that was just an all over setting shade. So I'm curious to see what this one would end up being. I don't know, we'll see. But again, along the same lines, blues are just very outside my comfort zone. So I'm continuing to explore ways to like make this work for me and push me out my comfort zone a little bit, but not to the point where I'm too uncomfortable. I don't know. Again, the last month I didn't do much aside from just like go to work. So blue eyeshadow has not always been in the cards for me. All that being said, I used this shade 3 times in the last month. This one will probably end up being a 20 uses thing, but whatever. And here is Northern Star swatched out. So again, this is 2016 from the Morphe and Avani Gregg palette. This is single from the Morphe and James Charles palette. This is Lust in Time from the Colourpop Golden State of Mind palette. This is 1971 from the Morphe and Coca-Cola palette, and this is Northern Star from the Beauty Bay and Jade palette. So we are rolling out one shade, and I'm excited. I did also very recently declutter a good number of eyeshadow palettes, so my numbers have changed around a little bit, and I hope that doesn't, you know, affect things too much. I think it'll be fine. Last month I had like 1450 or something eyeshadows. Now I have 1304. So we did go down a good bit. Anyway, few rules for myself. I don't want to work on a black. If something is like way too close to one of the shades in this project already, I won't work on it. If something has pan already, I won't work on it, which probably will not happen. I think that's all. Let's see what we get. All right, sorry, I tried doing it. Milo got in the way because he's a goof. Anyway, I just recently decluttered a handful of eyeshadow palettes, so some of my numbers have changed around a good bit. So I'm excited. Last month I had like 1450 or something eyeshadows in my collection, and I have 1305 currently. That being, excuse me, 1304. That being said, I do have a Colourpop order sitting in my mailbox for me right now. So that's fine. We're not gonna worry about that. I got rid of like 12 eyeshadow palettes, which was huge for me. So, all right, 1 to 1304. Let's see what we get. Oh, very new, 1,263. Oh, okay. This is something I got like literally last week. So that's exciting. I haven't used it yet. Let me go grab that palette. All right, I picked this palette up at TJ Maxx a couple weeks ago. This was a reward for myself for finishing a major event that I had done. So this is the Sigma Untamed palette. I was very surprised to see this at TJ Maxx, but I'm excited about it. I've heard really great things about the Sigma formula, and I've never tried. This is my first palette, and again, I haven't used it yet. So the shade we are doing is, let me confirm. Yeah. The shade we're going to be working on is Spirit, which is, ooh, okay. Let me get this stuff out of here. So Spirit is this shade right here. This palette is so pretty. So that one should be pretty easy for me to work on, actually. Ooh, these are soft. Oh, that'll be very easy. I mean, that could be just like an easy, you can't even really see it, inner corner highlight there, like lid topper shade. So very nice. Awesome. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to get some use out of this palette. This is my first ever Sigma product. I've never tried like their brushes or anything. So yeah, I was very thrilled to find this at TJ Maxx, actually. So that's all for my Pan Those Eyeshadows. Quick poll to the community. I know some people, when they do these videos, they end it by talking about looks that they have done, like with their color stories and stuff. If that's something you are interested in, let me know. I never pretty much take pictures of like any of the looks that I do. But I feel like that's something that I could get into, and it would be fun to kind of document a little bit. So if that's something that people enjoy seeing, I'm happy to start doing that as well. But thank you so much for watching this video. Again, this is my favorite project. I love eyeshadows, hence why I have 1,300 eyeshadows in my collection currently. So I like being able to use this to rotate through some stuff and give products in my collection some love. Again, thank you for watching. I would love if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I only started this a few months ago and I'm almost at 100 subscribers, which is cool. I just sit and talk about makeup stuff, and that's wild to me. But anyway, I hope you have a great day. Milo hopes you have a great day too. He's sitting right here with me. He's very sleepy. But I will see you all very soon. Bye.